So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and this was inspired by a friend yesterday that had moved from a marketing role into a kind of sales business development role, is what is business development? How does it work? What's the aim and goal? How can you do it better? And just to really kind of give you some tips and stuff on that. I've kind of built a lot of my career in business development, and actually there's a lot to it that isn't rocket science, and I just wanted to kind of talk it through, but almost really explain what is it and how does it work. So you've probably all seen a sales funnel where basically what we try and do is raise awareness at the top. So this is generally where your marketing comes in, and it's ways that people just know that you even exist is often the kind of biggest thing. Then right at the bottom you have your revenue, and ideally it'll be repeat revenue where people continue to buy your stuff. And the whole point is it's how you take people through this kind of journey. One of the things that's often you see is the first bit for people to even know that your product exists is marketing. And this is where those guys want to really make sure that what you produce is what the customer wants and that kind of thing to get people interested. But then actually the process of how you go from the inflow of people that make an inquiry to actually going all the way through to revenue, a lot of people class as sales. But there's two kind of distinctions for me with this. Sales, technically for me, is when you handle an inquiry to take them down the funnel, if that makes sense, which would be here. And for me, business development is the bit in the middle. Where essentially what you're looking to do is meet new people to take the original interest and start to manage a qualified pipeline through to sales and through to kind of revenue. So one of the big things that I think is really important to do, the first one is actually go out and meet new people. I'm going to just put new. One of the classic mistakes that you always see is that people talk to the same people all the time, and they go to the same networking events, and it's the same people, and it's the clients that already know who they are, and they either do or don't buy their stuff. But the point is that's no good. The whole point of business development is to keep finding new people to enter your hopper. And the aim of business development is to be at the table, to be considered when someone is ready to make a purchase. If you look at the stats, only 3% of your potential target customers are ready to buy today. So what that means is, for one, you want to be accessible so that if those people get in touch, you can actually handle the inquiry and go back to them. But you also need to stay on the radar of the other 97% of people, just so that you stay on their general awareness so they can buy your stuff and hire you if they ever want to. But again, your job is to keep adding new people into that hopper, because actually if you keep talking to the same people, at some point you're either going to win the customers then lose them again. But business development is, again, it's all about new kind of stuff. One good tip actually, if you ever go to an event to actually kind of meet people, is for one, get to know people's names. You always want to remember something about them, ideally a few different things. Because something that someone who's really good at business development and sales will do is introduce people to different people, because so much of it is actually to your network. So again, at the ports event yesterday, there was lots of people that I met for the first time, but it's able to say, hi John, this is Richard. Richard does this for National Grid. John is the MD here. And actually it's the ability to facilitate conversation, make people feel wanted and included, is a really important skill, because actually what you can do is build your network. More people are going to know who you are. More people are going to like you, because actually for one, you remember stuff about them, but you're inclusive and you really kind of bring people in. And it's a really important part of business development is networking to get your name out there, because the more people you meet, the more awareness that you're kind of building. And on the course, one of the things that we talk about is that we actually have a whole module on personal brand. What is it? What do you need to consider? How do you do it? So that people basically don't forget who Steve Pugh is or whoever you are, just for that one point where they're ready to make a decision, that they consider picking up the phone to you, versus if they haven't heard from you for 2-3 years, they don't even know you exist, they're going to go to a competitor. So that's one of the really big important things to do. And yeah, just make friends, be friendly, go out and talk to people. If you're not a sociable person, don't go into business development, because it's a really tough task. That when the chap who I spoke to yesterday, who had a marketing background, Marketing's actually, I really enjoy it. I love the science behind it and other stuff, but you can actually sit behind a desk and almost create stuff where it looks easy and you think, oh, it's the sales jobs. I've done all the hard work. They just have to manage people through the process. And again, sales for me is that kind of claim handling we've got 3 modules on sales on the course, but how you really listen to the customer, understand their needs. There's a big thing called high value technical selling where you actually want to listen, understand, play the problem back to them, make sure that you amplify all of the different bits of what they're looking to do before you offer your solution. But actually that's the point where you've already got an inquiry. The hard bit for business development, and again, the same person can actually do both of these or even all 3 of these, is to just go through the process. But it is massively important to really kind of get out there, say hello to new people, build your network, and it does kind of take time. But actually, the better you can get at this, and again, the more people who know who you are, hopefully if they like you and they trust you, it will actually help all the way through to your sales and your conversion rate. So that's part of the reason why I do the live streams, is that I know that 99.9% of people don't watch them, but they might see it for 10 seconds. And the whole point is that it's that constant reinforcement of, oh yeah, that's Steve Pugh guys, it seems all right. And that's almost enough because it makes me different to people that they haven't seen. And that's part of the reason why you're doing it, that when you're trying to add value, and we talk again about how you want to be seen as an authority or an expert on a topic, there's so much stuff that you can do and you can build into your marketing to raise awareness and raise kind of profile. But again, in terms of business development, the reason we do it is to actually get money through the door at the end of the day. And there are ways, tips and tricks to do it. If you work in business development or sales yourself, I'd love to know your stuff. What are your best tips? If you were to give advice to someone who's new in the industry, what would you say to them? Yeah, I love it if you get involved. And then likewise, if you see this on YouTube or whatever, please kind of reach out. And I love it when just I get to meet new people.